All right, Mr. Boedicker, tell me, what's your bench press? All right.
My bench press. I'm going to be very honest. Right now, I don't know what my bench press would be, but I would be optimistic to say it's over the 300-pound range. When I was much younger, it was over the 400 range. My best was 420 pounds, which for my body weight was twice my body weight, and that was my goal. So I worked pretty hard at that.
That's great. All right. What keeps you chronically happy, Mr. Boedicker?
I think I've always been very optimistic about everything, and I think what keeps me chronically happy is just life in general. Try to get the most out of every single day. You know, we're all given 24 hours a day, and I'm going to do everything I can to, change somebody, help somebody, inspire somebody. That's my motivating factor. I have a core set of values that I have internally, and it's to serve people, it's to build character in people, and it's also to achieve excellence. And that's what I try to bring every single day to Perry Meridian High School, and that's going to keep me happy.
All right. How do you feel about the nickname Curdy B?
I don't know. I think I have some mixed emotions about that. I didn't know there was a nickname out there like that. Kind of reminded me of a high school thing. When I was in high school, my girlfriend had a nickname, and it was like that, Curdy, but it was kind of unusual. But I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that one. I'll let you know in a few weeks. Only if it's all positive. If it's upbeat and high energy, I'm all for it.
All right. Have you ever committed a crime?
What kind of question is that? Now, I wouldn't be your principal if I ever committed a crime. Now, I'm going to be candid and say this. We're all kids. And as kids, and you do things as a young person, and you learn valuable lessons. I'm just like every other student out there. We get put into tough situations where you have to make the decision, and I'm going to be honest and say I didn't always make the best decision, but at the same time, learned from that and became better for that. But no felonies on my record here. So I think other than maybe a few speeding tickets. So
teach me something I don't know in the next minute.
Teach you something that you don't know in the next minute. You know how to juggle?
No.
Okay. So basically, when you start off with juggling, it's a lot of eye-hand coordination. I would say you start with two balls in one hand, two in one and one in the other, and just start slowly by tossing the two balls up and being able to catch them. And then you kind of look through those objects, and you can see those in your peripheral sight. And then once you get good at that rhythm, then you just add that third ball in. When those balls are coming down, you quickly throw that third ball in and catch it, and then you just alternate hands with the third ball, and you have a nice little pattern going. You could probably do it in a matter of 5 minutes. It's a lot of eye-hand coordination, but it's also using your sight and your arms.
That's great.
I don't know if that's a good example or not, but that's what I'm sticking to, and that's my story.
Does it smell like updog in here?
What's up, dog?
Not much. What's up with you? No. If you were in a sitcom, what character would you be in? Or what character would you be, and in which show?
Oh, what sitcom? Oh my goodness, that's a good question. It raises that idea of if I was in a sitcom, I'd love to be able to create my own sitcom, and it'd be something of maybe a positive, uplifting sitcom, maybe even called The Principal. School life in a high school. I think it'd be something that would be uplifting and inspiring to people. That would be my character, trying to make an impact on others, something like that. I can't think of any sitcoms like that. I think of there's so many out there. Some that my wife and I like to watch are probably not really geared towards what I do professionally, but I don't know. I'll come back to you with an answer on that at a later date.
All right. So we all know that we've been wearing lanyards for added school safety. Could you share any positive results other than the one you shared with us on Wednesday that have made the lanyards worth it?
Absolutely. In fact, when we started talking about this initiative last year, it really started with some conversations I had with some student leaders. I meet with the student leadership team. I meet with other rings of leaders in your building. There's the principal student advisory committee. If people want to be involved with that, they can reach out to Mrs. York or Molly Armstrong. We're going to do that again this year. So through those conversations, we started changing some of the safety protocols in Perry Township. And specifically, you guys know about run, hide, fight. And in those types of chaotic situations, sometimes that's what you can describe them as. We talked about how can we quickly identify who should be in the school environment and who should not be there. And also, when we, for example, with Run, Hide, Fight, when we go on that mission of securing safety and we may run out of the building, which is what we empower kids to do and staff to do. When we go to those acclimation points, how do we sort our students? How do we know? You guys have seen the videos, unfortunate things that have happened in high schools, and kids are walking out with their hands up like this. And every time I see that, it's like, I feel like the kids have done something wrong. They're coming out with their hands up like this, versus they could see you have a bright neon green lanyard. You're one of ours. If we tell our safety forces, our kids, we can identify them. They're ours. They don't have to come out like they've done something wrong. So that was really the driving force for some of the conversations which led to that. Just to share with you, we had an incident just the other day where a young man, he had no ill intent. He was just a recent graduate from high school. He dropped some things off for a relative, and he made his way through the first stage of doors into the hallway and just was kind of, walking around. Like I said, nothing real bad. But when he signed in, we have a very clear check-in policy, and our check-in person said, where's this person at? Made a quick call on the radio, and immediately he was identified within minutes because a student also said, hey, he doesn't have a lanyard on. And it was easy for that person going after him to say, hey, we just need to keep you back here in the main office. That was maybe one, but you think about all the other things you're going to use your lanyard for and your ID. You're going to use it to scan for lunch, which will be easier and more efficient for our people in the cafeteria. Checking out materials in the media center. When we did the processing for your laptops and your Chromebooks, with your lanyard and your ID made it easier and quicker to get your Chromebook because it had your barcode. If you go to an athletic event, you buy an all sports pass, it's going to be connected with your ID. In fact, if you look at this ID right here, this is a township initiative for every school employee in Perry Township. And if we think it's important for you as students to know who we are as the big people, we also need to know and think it's important for our big people to know who our students are. So it's just a little thing, but it's kind of a big thing. If you look in our world today, most occupations, you have some type of identification where you work. So it kind of follows suit with that, but we've kind of made it intentional to use it and be purposeful with its use. It's just not, well, you have your lanyard and your ID. The other great thing is just to know students by class as well. We went to a grade level team concept with Team 22, Team 21, Team 20, and Team 19. And that identification feature also helps everyone in the school say, oh, this student's a senior because of the color of their lanyard. I may ask them a question. Let's say we have a substitute in the building. I know I'm kind of going rogue here, but let's say we have a substitute in the building and they're looking for a classroom. And if they know coming in, hey, our seniors are Navy, Columbia blue, our freshmen are Navy, they're probably going to be more inclined to go to that senior and ask for help versus maybe asking a freshman who's only been here a few weeks. Hey, where's 27A? Oh, I can help you with that. I'm actually walking up that way right now. And that student now helps a visitor in our building. So it's just little things like that. Plus with the teams, it's nice to look out and say, oh, there's a bunch of freshmen sitting together, or there's a bunch of kids who are in multiple grades sitting together and talking and having a good time. So I guess that's some of the reasons why we did it.
All right. Why were passing periods changed to 6 minutes on block days?
Well, it's a good question, and we're always looking at how we maximize instruction and how we get time back to put into the classroom. And we have kind of a saying here at Perry Meridian High School, and it's kind of morphed into we walk and talk together. We want to take as much time as we can for instruction, and we felt that 6 minutes, we know there's a lot of students in our hallways, but 6 minutes was adequate time from getting from point A to point B. And when we looked at the block days, we said we need to be consistent with the times between the classes, because sometimes kids would say, oh, is it 6 or 8? It's always 6. And we want to be timely. I think being on time for your classes, it's a very important feature, because that shows respect for your teachers. Your teachers work really, really hard for you to get ready for that day. And you know you've walked into a class and that teacher is ready to go, and they've worked hard to say, I'm going to maximize the 46 minutes I have with you today. And that's why we stress being on time. Plus, it's just a character thing. It's a good habit to get into.
All right, so the people want to know, where are the countdown clocks?
Oh, the countdown clocks. When we were reprogramming our schedule this year, and we do that every single year when we make revisions. And I'll say this maybe with a little, with a lightness to my comments. When you looked at the countdown clocks, and this is just a general observation, and I will jokingly say, students would talk and then run, because they would look at the clock and they would say, oh, I've got another minute, and I know I can get there. So they would talk and congregate, and our halls would be getting increasingly narrower as more students are in our school. And that causes a ripple effect of more people being targeted class. And once again, getting back to that respect factor, being on time is important. So we found that people or students were watching the clocks, they were talking and then running, versus really what we want is to walk and talk and be on time. So that's why we just eliminated the countdown clocks. Mm-hmm. We want students to go from point A to point B, and be mindful of the time you have, and we'll give you the latitude of having your earbuds in, and one earbud in and being on your phone in the hallways. I think another important thing, I think students here do it really, really well. In other schools, they wrestle with it. They have a hard time with it, is that cell phone. But you guys do a really nice job of, when you go into class, I watch it. You put it away, and you're focused on the learning. And I commend you for that. And the other good thing is, I think the concession is, when class is over, yeah, you can get your phone out in the hall and you can catch up on something, or you want to listen to a song while you're moving to class. I think it's a win-win. So it kind of all falls into that environment and culture that we really, really are pushing, as far as being positive and upbeat and having a lot of energy here at the high school.
All right, and we have like a couple more minutes, and the last question: what other major changes are coming to Perry in the next semester or year?
Well, I don't really see any major changes. I think the little things that we've done over the last several months have actually tried to improve the culture we have here at this high school. We want to be a high energy school. We want to be a school that is very receptive, very understanding of a lot of differences in people. And I think one of the things that we value at Perry Meridian High School is our diversity, and how different we all are, but at the same time how much we are alike. I think that's one thing that we really need to keep in front of us. I think it's a strength. It's a strength of our school. So as far as changes, if we hear of things from that principal student advisory committee, or from our STUVO leadership, or from our grade level teams, Team 22 there, I know they're working with their STUVO leadership team. If we hear things from a student perspective that can make Perry Meridian High School a better place, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk with kids, and if it's better, hey, we're going to do it, because we're here to make this the best high school experience for every student.
It's a summer time to write a little song to remember